week is winding down. Maybe your weekend is Tuesday and Wednesday or Thursday and Friday. Maybe you've got a midweek weekend. Right. But we're kind of talking about sort of the mainstream understanding of a weekend here, Saturday and Sunday. And, it's there's nothing wrong with doing all those things Debbie said and, running the errands and doing the laundry and mowing the grass and all of that. But how do we keep God even first and foremost in that? Because, Debbie, I think there's a tendency and a temptation for all of us when you're in that Monday through Friday sort of mentality, you're in a routine. And then all of a sudden, that routine is just not there. And so, maybe if part of our weekday routine includes God, maybe daily mass and things like that, and extra prayer, do we keep that going on the weekend?
Right. So please don't get started with your weekend plans yet. Participate in this conversation. And if you're outside North America, it's country code 1-205-271-2985. That's the number to call if you're outside North America. If you want to call us and you have a couple open phone lines, Tom Price is ready to pick up your phone and say, hello, welcome to Take Two at 1-833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. And we're not asking you to out yourself and say, okay, I'm guilty. I'm one of the people that makes a list and I cover everything. And yes, if we can fit in mass, we do. It's okay. Let's have this discussion and see if we can look at it from a different angle. That's what Take Two's all about. It's looking at it. Jerry likes to say reframing it, looking at it from a different angle. It really, truly is the way we can learn and grow in life and get closer to God. So if we get real honest with this discussion, I can almost guarantee you we'll all feel very different about going into the weekend.
Yeah, and so it's a rather wide range of things you can call in about, but certainly would love to hear anybody's thoughts on what Archbishop Vigneron in Detroit has done. I find that interesting, Debbie. I had not heard of that yet, but I'll tell you what, as the state of the church and the world and everything going on right now, a lot of people are promoting, returning to the mandatory Friday, abstaining from meat. Right. A lot of people are pointing toward, making Sunday, doing these things that really honor God. I mean, on Sunday, it's the Lord's Day. We're called to do rest and not do unnecessary work. So, and I think if we do these basic foundational things that the church has always promoted, I think God's grace is going to come in more abundance upon the church and the world right now.
Yeah. Well, I give Archbishop in Detroit a lot of credit because he's getting a lot of pushback. A lot of people are saying some really rude things about it. And let's talk about it. Let's see if you agree or disagree. We want to hear from you at 833-288-3986. When we come back, we're going right to the phones.
We know you like listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio, but have you thought about bringing them to your next event? No matter what type of event you're hosting, parish mission, conference, or retreat, trust Jerry and Debbie to make it come alive. Begin the process today of taking your presentation to the next level of success. For information on booking Jerry and Debbie, visit take2show.com, click on the J&D logo.
Father John Riccardo.
The ultimate answer to the question of where I meet Jesus. Because obviously, in imperfect ways, I meet him almost anywhere. I meet him in creation, whether it's the majesty of a sunrise or a sunset. You sense and you see something of the person of God, his majesty, his power, his awe. I can have access to him in ways, in many places and fashions. The fullest place we meet Jesus, the place where you and I on earth most have access to the Father, where we accomplish God's will on earth, are those minutes on Sunday, which so many of us find tedious and somehow see as an obligation. So please God, by the power of his Holy Spirit, he will give us the grace to understand more profoundly what it is that really happens when you and I come to church.
The people you know and trust are on EWTN.
promise, when we return, we're going right to your calls. I am going to break her promise just for about 30 seconds here.
Okay, go ahead.
So, yeah, those of you on the line, Katie, you're going to be first, and Joni and David and the others here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I just have to mention first, though, another great program that I really encourage people to listen to every week. But this week, it's a especially important episode of Register Radio. It's the radio program spun off from the National Catholic Register, published by EWTN. Jeanette DeMello and Matthew Bunson, they do a great job, and they host the show 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturdays. And this week, Register correspondent Loretta Brown and Catholic News Agency's editor-in-chief J.D. Flynn will talk about Pope Francis's motu proprio, You Are the Light of the World, and the new laws for battling clergy sexual abuse. It's sort of the story that won't go away. Unfortunately, of course, we don't want it to go away. We want justice to be served, but we want to work toward a resolution so that we can move forward with this. So let's all be in prayer for that, and be sure to watch Register Radio at 7 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow.
Okay, Tom Price is waiting for that last phone line to ring. So if you feel prompted by the Spirit, call in. You'll speak to Tom. He's wonderful to talk to. He'll put you on hold. You get to listen live. Jump in on this discussion about weekend plans and do we keep God first, whether we're going away on a short vacation or we're just our normal weekend. We want to hear from you. 833-288-EWTN. Okay, we shall go to Katie first in Salt Lake City, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Katie. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be talking with you guys today. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Thanks, Katie.
So I have started my weekend by, I stepped in at my chapel and said some prayers. And my mom has gone into surgery today for a broken arm. And I just felt compelled to stop in where I'm more of a returning Catholic. I haven't been to confession probably since confirmation, and I'm really looking, I guess what I intend to always do is find a way to go to confession so that I can go to Mass and receive the Eucharist and take part in everything. And I think what's stopping me from attending Mass on Sundays is that I'm not sure the best way to go about going to confession. And I know that's not really, I'm not super active, but I guess what I'm wondering is how I can take this further and continue with this from today all the way to Sunday and continuing on.
Right. Okay, so real quickly, you're in Salt Lake City, Utah, and you have many churches. Yeah, you have many churches there, a very vibrant Catholic community that has.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, you do. That was one of my territories when I worked for Catholic Radio in the Southwest. I had Salt Lake City, which, by the way, I love flying into your state. You have the most beautiful, when you fly in with the mountains all around. I mean, you are really got a little slice of heaven there in Salt Lake City. But you know,
it's so beautiful, and the Cathedral of Madeline has always been just the only one that I've attended, and I'm really looking for another church that's closer out where I live. So,
Okay. Well, you do, like I said, you have a lot of very active churches, and they are very big on Catholic radio, and they really are very supportive. A lot of young adult ministries and things like that happening at the churches. What I would do, Katie, is in the town that you live in, I would just look up the nearest Catholic churches. You'll probably find 2 or 3, and then just pull up the website, find out when they have confessions this weekend. It's sometimes you'll always pretty much find one of the churches that'll have them on Saturday morning, Katie. And what I would do is just get there a little early, about 15, 20 minutes early. And I would just allow yourself this is what I would do if I were you. I'd go into the confessional and just, if you don't know exactly what to say, share right up front with Father that you have not been to confession in how many years. He will walk you along. He will help you along with the act of contrition and everything. A lot of people feel very nervous because they don't know the protocol of confession. Don't worry about that. Just go into the confessional and let the good Lord fill you with the love and mercy, and just share with him, I haven't been to confession in how many years, Father? Father, can you help me along? And let him know you were confirmed and everything. And we're going to pray that whatever confessional you end up in this weekend, it is just an amazing, freeing experience. Katie, you got to email us because you're probably going to be floating sky high, just saying, wow, I feel terrific, because you just get to be real with God and let God fill you with love and mercy and forgiveness. And it sounds like you're in a wonderful place, and especially with the love you have for your mom. And by the way, we're going to be praying for your mom that everything goes well in the surgery and that her arm heals and everything. She's on a healing process. But for you, Katie, you're on an incredible spiritual process right now, and your journey. God has many things planned for you, and you're taking one gigantic step towards him. He's going to take 10 steps towards you. This is pretty awesome. I hope I answered your question, but I know Jerry wants to say some things.
Well, first, Katie, what are your thoughts on what Debbie shared? I've got a couple of quick thoughts there, but what about what Debbie was saying?
That's exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you.
Oh,
I've been so scared because I haven't, known the protocol, and that I guess I just needed to know that there was such a vibrant community here where it's, oftentimes so lacking when you're maybe the only one in your family who's practicing.
Right.
So thank you so much, and thank you for the prayers for my mother. I appreciate it.
Did you get her mom's name, Deb?
If you would want to give us your mom's name, and also
First
Katie,
name,
if you want to email us, I can actually tell you some of the churches in your area, and you could tell me the town you live in, because I know them very well. I worked in your area for many years. I know a lot of the priests, and so if you want to email us too, it's take2@EWTN.com. You can just drop me an email, say, this is Katie from near Salt Lake City, and we can correspond if you want to. And your mom's first name, if you would like us to add her to the book.
I would love that. Thank you so much. Her name is Kathleen Hutchinson.
Beautiful. Okay, yeah.
Thank you so much. I would love that guidance, Debbie. I've just really needed it. And I've tried reaching out to a couple of I haven't reached out to the diocese yet, but I, just emailed asking for a little bit of guidance and hadn't really heard back. And so I felt maybe, I don't know. Thank you. That's all. I'm going to take this step. And
I'll do whatever I can do. I'll call the parishes. I'll do whatever I can do, because you deserve to be able to feel that freedom and God's love and mercy. Mm-hmm. And you're in a wonderful place, sweetheart. And you just got to keep going in that direction, because God has great things in store for you.
All I would add, Katie, is see this place that you're in right now and these desires on your heart as God's grace and His love already moving, already active, acting in your life. And like Debbie said, that confession is going to be so freeing, because you're just released from so much stuff, and you're really you're restored to that pristine point of grace that your soul was, before confession, or before you made some of those sins. But the only other thing that I would say, this is not to counter what Debbie said about going this weekend, but sometimes, and this is, you can go this weekend if you want, that'd be great. But sometimes when people have been away from the sacraments for a while, they just call it the local church and say, Father, it's been a long time, or set an appointment with him. And that way you can really drill down a little bit deeper than you can, during a few minutes in a confessional on a weekend. But just get there this weekend if you can. The priest will tell you everything you need to know, and you're going to have that great freeing experience that Debbie described.
Oh, thank you. Thank you both so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, you're
absolutely.
Sorry, I'm choked up.
No, don't be. I'll be waiting for your email. We can move rather quickly. Like Jerry said, it is Friday, so sometimes they close their offices early in the afternoon. But you know what? I know a lot of people up there. I can make some phone calls, and let's see what we can do. And also too, I'll also send you, in case you don't have it, the opening statement you make when you go into the confessional, and then the act of contrition. I'll send that all to you by email, so you can print it out. My husband takes it with him right into the confessional. So you're all good, Katie.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for your guidance, Jared and Debbie. You're incredible.
Oh, well, God bless you, Katie. We just try and stay out of the Holy Spirit's way, and you're going to be really, really happy that you did all this, and you've got a global audience praying for you and for your mom, Kathleen. So know of all those prayers. Okay, Katie, have a blessed. Yeah, we'll pray for you this weekend. Wow, Deb, great way to start the phone calls, and we got jam-packed phone lines, so let's keep on moving here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Joni in Atlanta on Sirius XM 130 as well. Hi, Joni. Welcome.
Hi there. I'm so excited. I literally am a brand new listener. I found your station 15 minutes ago.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
Cool.
Well, welcome to the Take Two family, Joni.
Thank you so much. So when I turned on the radio and I heard what you were talking about, it really moved me because I am actually in Atlanta now, and we are going to Columbia, South Carolina for the weekend. We moved from there about a year and a half ago, and the first thing that I said to my 14-year-old, and he was so excited about it too, is like, oh my gosh, we get to go back to our church. So I quickly emailed our DRE to say, when is Father Sandy, what Mass is he going to be, over so that I can get to see him. And it's just something that we've just always done when we're traveling, whether in New York with family, to seek out a different church, a different experience. And I would bring the bulletins back to the children that I taught CCD to help them kind of understand, no matter where you go in the world, you'll be welcome and you will understand it, even if it's not in your language, because it's the universal church. We'll always know that. So it was just really fun to hear you guys talking about that, because that is part of our weekend, seeing family and friends, but going back and seeing our church family.
Wow. Beautiful. Right there, Joni. Did you say you have a 14-year-old who was excited, got really excited about being able to go back to that church?
Yeah, because, he grew up in that church. So when we moved, one of the hard things moving a year and a half ago was leaving our church. He was an altar server. He had lectured the Christmas pageant, and that was, we got there when we were 5, and he grew up in that church, and that was hard. It's funny, we moved back to Atlanta to the church he was actually baptized in. It was kind of full circle, but that is still, that still feels like our home parish, even though our new church, or which is our old church, is wonderful. It's just going to be really fun for him to go back there and then to kind of see how he's grown in his height and faith.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, again, the reason I asked was just because as a parent, I don't think there could be a better, admiration and respect for your children. And it obviously shows the great job that you and your husband have done, in planting the seeds of faith. I mean, most kids would be saying, wow, let's go to this theme park and let's go to this restaurant for ice cream and all of this stuff. And Debbie, she's got kids who are saying, let's go back to our old church. My goodness, what a great gift that is for the parents and for the kids too, of course.
Well, absolutely. And Joni, I would just suggest, I'm sure you thought about this already, but just a couple things. Take pictures of your family on the church steps, and maybe go into their gift shop and get a special medal or something and have it blessed, so that your family always remembers the trip that you made back to the church. And another thing I just wanted to share too, there's a great ministry that's been going for many years. It was started by Tom Peterson. It's called Catholics Come Home, and you can go on the website and see a lot of the videos. They're phenomenal. A lot of the testimonials as well. But one of the things that is so interesting, our church is universal, and you tapped into that, Joni, and it's so true. When people have been away from the Catholic Church and they come into a Catholic church, the statement that they most hear is that people feel, I'm home. That's what they feel. Yeah. And they have sent these testimonials in to Tom Peterson and the ministry saying, it's so strange. I just felt like I was home. Well, you are home. You are home. It's very interesting. Yeah. And real quickly, I just wanted to share, my sister and I were sightseeing many years ago in New York City. This is hilarious because we're from Jersey and we should know New York, but we didn't. And we were so overwhelmed because it was very crowded and it was just busy. Anyway, we wanted to get to St. Patrick's Cathedral, but there was all these other cathedrals along the line in New York City. And my sister and I ran and we saw this one cathedral and we thought, okay, this is a Catholic one. And my sister and I walked in and we both looked at each other as soon as we stepped into the vestibule. And my sister goes, this isn't Catholic. I go, no, it's not. It doesn't feel Catholic. We went outside and looked at the plaque and it was a Methodist church. And it was funny because nothing against that, we're Christian, but it was interesting. We felt the difference as soon as we walked in. It was amazing. And both of us felt that way. So I think to your point, Joni, we are called back to what we know is true and true in God. And I that's what I love about the Catholic Church. So we're going to be with you in spirit as you go back to your home church this weekend, Joni.
Thank you so much. And I'm so glad I found you guys on the radio because obviously I watch EWTN, but I'm in the car a lot in Atlanta. So it's really great that I can take you with me. So yay. Thank you so much. Have a blessed weekend. I do appreciate it.
Okay, Joni, thank you so much. Have a safe trip, and may God bless you richly along the way. 833-288-3986. We're talking about what are your typical weekend plans, and how do you keep God front and center and all of that, and still do some of the stuff, the fun stuff, the leisurely stuff, the the errands and things like that. 833-288-3986. Debbie, before we go back to the phones, her call just reminds me, if you know about Catholic radio, spread the word. See, she just found it flipping through the Sirius XM channels. Praise God for that. And a lot of people do find it that way. But Debbie, word of mouth is so important. And maybe a plug for EWTN's media missionaries. If you folks, if you appreciate, you don't even have to officially become a media missionary. But if you appreciate having your local Catholic radio station on, support it and tell other people about it, because you're going to change lives and save souls when you do.
Yeah. And you know what I love about what Joni did? I just love it. She just found the station. She just found this program. She loves it. And she jumped right in and called in. Yep. Joni, way to go. We're going to think up a new, we give out these virtual awards, Joni. They're virtual. So we're going to think up one just for you, because that's pretty awesome. You just jumped right into the family of callers. I love that.
Okay, we will get to more of your calls momentarily here. All of you on the line, you will get on. That's David, Beatrice, Carol, and Eddie. And this is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Tom Price screening calls today. Jeff Burson on the controls. Debbie and I'll be right back.
Al Cresta.
The secular press just doesn't get our story. They don't even understand it. And so it's incumbent upon us to get the story straight and get the story out.
The leading Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
It's time for Family Man with Dr. Gregory Popchak.
Anxiety disorders affect 20% of Americans, and many take anti-anxiety medications in an attempt to find relief. But surprisingly, a new study from the University of New Zealand examining the effectiveness of different types of anxiety therapies found that compared with using medication alone to treat anxiety, or even medication combined with therapy, anxious patients who received cognitive behavior therapy alone experienced the most relief of all three groups. The study found that anxious patients can tend to lean too heavily on medication to help them feel calm, and because of that, can struggle to develop the skills therapy could otherwise afford them. By contrast, patients who received counseling alone worked harder to learn skills that help them create a more peaceful life. If you're suffering from anxiety but not currently receiving counseling, contact a faithful therapist who can make sure you're getting the best care possible. I'm Dr. Greg Popchak, but you can call me Family Man.
To discover more ways faith can enrich your life, visit CatholicCounselors.com.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
I have a very hard time sometimes, and I'm so frustrated. I mean, frustrated. Somebody says, how'd you do all this, Mother? I say, I didn't. And they look at me, The Lord did it. God does everything. Without me, He said, you do nothing.
For more information on Mother Angelica, visit Religious Catalog at EWTNRC.com.
Monday on More to Life, the life you were meant to live.
We'll look at how the theology of the body can help you live a more abundant life. That's Monday on More to Life, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central on EWTN Radio.
Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
We're talking about your weekend plans and what is your priority for the weekend. And we heard from Katie and Joni, and there's so many on the lines right now. So we're going to go back to the phones to hear what you have to say. And if you want to comment about Archbishop, say it, Jerry.
Well, I've heard it pronounced Vigneron or Vigneron, but it's
Vigneron.
If you say it fast and kind of combine the two, people think you know what you're talking about. So
there you go.
He's a
Archbishop
wonderful Archbishop,
Vigneron.
by the way. Used to be in Oakland, and I went on a trip to Lourdes with him and some others with the Knights of Order of Malta several years ago. Great Archbishop, wonderful man, Alan Vigneron.
Okay, well, Archbishop Vigneron, he instituted a policy in the Archdiocese of Detroit to eliminate sporting activities on the weekends to get families to spend more time with our Lord. So let's hear what David has to say in Springfield, Minnesota on EWTN.com. Hi, David. Thanks for waiting and welcome.
Good morning. Great to be on.
Thank you, David.
I just wanted to certainly give the bishop an attaboy for stepping up and leading on that. I just think it is so important for parents, for husbands and wives to think thoughtfully about their family and protecting that time. And so Sundays for us as a family have always been a day of rest, and that was instituted by my dad when I grew up. There was one day when I was being raised, he decided to combine corn on a Sunday, and he blew 3 out of 4 tires on his combine that day. And that incident stopped us from always working. So we never worked again on Sunday other than regular chores and what had to be done. And I just really took that into my own family, and so we will not work on Sunday. It's completely a day of rest for us. We go to Mass. We have time together as a family. Everyone gets to really use the day in the manner that they choose. And I just think that until we as parents realize that, even during the week, school districts serve us. We don't serve them. And until we reclaim our own time and plan it purposefully, others will manage our time.
Well, David, I'm so glad that you've taken a stance with your family, and I'd be curious to know. We've all become sort of, I think, desensitized to Sunday being just another secular sort of day. I mean, anybody who's a pro football fan or even, other sports, obviously, and there are many other activities as well that are on Sundays. And I think just reclaiming that like you're doing in your family is just a wonderful idea. How does your family, a lot of people would say, oh, you're depriving them. They're going to be socially, inept and all of this stuff. How do they thrive? How do they thrive in this environment on weekends, especially Sunday, David?
Oh, they live for Sunday. And whenever someone from the outside will put something in it's probably pretty important to go do, they feel so taken advantage of. They count on their days because then they get to read a book that they want to read. They get to go outside and play or build or do whatever they want to do. We always play games on Sundays. We have popcorn together. We only have 2 meals on Sunday. We'll have a big brunch when we get home from Mass, and then we have a simple supper, so that way nobody's even buried in the kitchen. And it's just a day that we all look forward to, either, myself or my wife just taking an hour of quiet time and just sleeping or resting. But we all look forward to this day and always leave it rejuvenated and, strengthened in the Lord, most certainly, but more, just as important as strengthened as a family. Mm-hmm. And, that single cell of society and the smallest cell of the church is so under attack that until we defend it and strengthen it, we will not regain the society.
Wow. You're making me walk down memory lane, David, because we did similar to that in my family. There was 6 of us, and then, of course, our parents, so there's 8 of us. We got up early, went to Mass, then went to Sunday brunch together, and then coming home, we just spent time together as a family. My uncle, the priest, would come over, my aunt, the nun, my grandmother, and my mother always had the Italian meal cooking in the background, the sauce and everything. And it was just an incredible day just to be and talk about God. And that's where I learned most of what I really practiced about God. It was at the table talking about conversations and having debates and everybody having different views and then coming together as a family. I did look forward to it. It's very interesting. You're bringing that back for me, and you're so right. I'm so happy for you and your family that you do that. That is precious, and thank you for sharing that today, because maybe other families will start to incorporate that immediately.
My daughter would put it this way. She would say, Dad, Pharaoh just wants us to keep making more bricks, and he keeps raising the quota of busyness, and then he says, do it without straw. And and she would say, we're not slaves. And so we're not slaves. We're children of the Lord. And he gave us Sunday to be together as family at Mass. And kind of Winnie the Pooh theology, sometimes nothing is the very best something. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, I loved what you said early on, David. We are here to. How did you put it? We're here to serve these things, the school district and the activities and all of that, not the other way around. I think that's maybe the way you put it, but we have to understand that.
They serve us. We don't serve them.
Right. Okay. I was going around in my mind thinking, wait a minute, I think I have that backward. But I love the way you put that, because we have to understand that. Even this may be a stretch of an analogy, but remember, we're in the Easter season now, and in the book of Acts, how many times did the apostles say, when they were told to stop preaching in the name and stop, spreading the word, and really, in a sense, stop churching, stop being church and spreading the church. They said, we must obey God before men. And this is not intended to be, hammering on anyone whose kids are involved in weekend activities or anything like that. But it's just really just maybe rethinking it, right, Deb? Just kind of maybe just take a step back and just go, And if you realize your priorities are in order, praise God, that's wonderful. Right. But you might see that you just need to tweak a little bit here and there and still enjoy a lot of other things on your weekend, but just make sure that they're all, putting God first and done in His name and for His glory. I think that's
absolutely.
The key. So
I just love that you called in, David. I think you're going to inspire a lot of other families to take a chance and make a change, because we get into these habits. You have to learn a new habit, and this is a good spiritual habit, and it could really benefit families and strengthen the family bond. So, David, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. A great topic, and I really, in so many regards, I think it's the same type of obedience that religious communities need to have as well, and we need to put some of that same structure in our own life. But thank you for the topic. Great topic.
You're welcome, David. Thank you. And by the way, I've found, there are a lot of articles online about Archbishop Vigneron's decision there in Detroit to really he's put the kibosh on Sunday sports activities, at least for Catholics. You can't do it for everybody, obviously. But Jeff Burson, our social media expert, will have the link up to that article on the Take2Show.com website shortly after the show.
I got it on Church Pop. It came in my inbox at like 4 a.m.
That's even better. Jeff, if you can find that link, put a link to an EWTN service. That would be even better.
There you go. Okay, Beatrice in Toledo, Ohio, on the Great Annunciation Radio. Hi, Beatrice. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call. I wanted to comment on the Archbishop's ruling. I feel that it's not necessary to completely eliminate athletic activities. I say this from our family history of over 50 years of spending a lot of Sunday afternoons on the CYO athletic field as a family. My husband being a coach, we followed our children, we followed our grandchildren there. But our first priority was always get up and go to church first, so that it's limited. It's set a certain time. You don't do athletic activities before 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. And then you have all these things that go on there. And it's wonderful because you see all these families with all these kids interacting together and always praying before every activity. Every game is preceded with prayer and Pledge of Allegiance together as families. And so I'm saying he's kind of being harsh about the whole thing. I think that a lot of people will say, okay, we'll just withdraw our children from Catholic activities and do secular activities.
Yeah,
what's your take on that?
No, Beatrice, you are right. In fact, Debbie can comment in a moment on this, because I think, Debbie, you said there's a lot of backlash already being expressed.
Yes.
But I thank you, Beatrice, for this perspective on this, and you and your husband for raising your kids the way you did, and your husband for coaching, and all of you putting God first. And I hope we've made that point clearly enough during this show, that this is not, the discussion is not about being, taking all the fun out of weekends or anything like that, but just sort of prioritizing in the way that you just said it is being done. And I think the problem is, and hopefully we can all agree on this, that it's the idea of sort of occupying our young people and adults as well, but in this case, young people. It's the idea of just keeping them busy all the time. I remember, God rest my sister's soul. Her two sons, were on these, youth basketball teams or baseball teams that were going to a tournament every weekend and not local. I mean, they were flying or driving 500 miles and, hotel rooms and the best equipment and meals and tons of expense. So, Debbie, I think this is, it gets out of hand sometimes, but if people can do what Beatrice is talking about, and not let this become the God that their family or their children serve, then I don't see any problem with it.
Yeah. And Beatrice, your example, I mean, you kept it in the right priority. I think I'm not trying to put ideas or words into the Archbishop's into why he decided to issue this to the Archdiocese. But I worked for my diocese here in Phoenix at the parish level for over 25 years. And I will tell you that sometimes when our leaders, our shepherds step up and they issue these challenges, I would say, is because they're trying to wake the faithful up. They're trying to get the faithful to realize something's wrong. You need to make a change. You need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to rethink this. And so I give him a lot of credit for doing that, but I can see where a lot of people would say, wait a minute, I don't need you to tell me how to conduct my family life. We're doing it in the right way. And so maybe this is just the conversation we need to have to get people to realize, hey, am I doing it okay? Or like you did it great, Beatrice, but maybe others are saying, we're not like Beatrice family. We have our priorities off. Maybe we should kind of lean towards what Archbishop is saying. So you see, I think sometimes we need that to be introduced just to kind of get us to stand up and say, wait, or sit up and say, wait a minute, we need to take a look at our own families. What do you think, Beatrice?
I think you have a good point there, and it seems like he's swinging that pendulum to the extreme. Maybe it'll come back a little bit, and people will say, wait a minute, let's talk about what are you trying to achieve, and how can we work both things together? Because athletic activities can be something that draws a family together. I've also experienced those weekend tournaments of my grandchildren and weekend practices, and you think, why do they have to practice at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning? Why can't they practice in the afternoon or on Saturday? The answer I've been given is, well, that's when the coach is available. Well, I'm sorry, Coach, but I think you have to rethink your priorities and realize what you're teaching these kids to say, this is more important than going to church with your family.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things there are factors incorporated in it, but I really and truly believe from my own experience that there is a place in our Catholic Christian lifestyle for organized activities, but a place for them, not towering over us. But like you say, we are served by them, not we serve them. We don't serve the activities. They serve us. They help us to gather together in Christian spirit and learn important life lessons from participating in athletics.
Absolutely. Beatrice, you have we're going to give you the virtual best take on this subject today, because I think you really covered a lot of really important ground in a very objective and dispassionate way. And we applaud you again for all that you have done and what you've lent to the program today. I think you've been a great contributor. Thank you so much for that. We're going to get back to the phones in just a minute, Debbie. I just want to also mention first that the EWTN app is how a lot of people listen to the program. In fact, we got Kendall on the line who's listening with the EWTN app right now as well. So if you have a smartphone and you don't have the EWTN app, no reason not to. It's absolutely free. You can watch EWTN television, listen to multiple EWTN radio streams. You got the Mass and prayers and a lot of good stuff on there. So get over to EWTN.com and download the app, or actually I think it's probably in your phone's app store instead. So let's get those on our phones. Okay.
And I just wanted to say we're getting a lot of text messages coming in and emails coming in for Katie. Katie, I can't wait to get your email. You're getting some confession guides and all sorts of folks stepping up and saying, wow, this is awesome. They feel like they're going to confession with you, Katie. So this is see how we travel together as a family. It's a good thing. Yeah. Okay. So I'm excited to get that email from Katie. All right. We're moving to, it's showing that, are we at Kendall first? I'm showing Kendall first. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
In Arlington,
Eddie,
Texas.
Eddie, hang on.
Hold on, Eddie. Yeah, hold on, Eddie, and hold on, Neil. Kendall in Arlington, Texas on the EWTN app. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So just a little background. I'm Protestant, and I listen to EWTN, and I'm wanting to learn more about the Catholic faith. And you bring up an interesting topic today because my husband is actually on staff at our church. And it's hard because on Sunday mornings, a lot of families wake up and they can kind of separate that, work from church type thing, but we can't because it's, his job is his church work. And that's a blessing, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it comes with its own challenges because we wake up on Sunday mornings and instead of saying, let's go to church and, just get to sit back and take everything in, we're kind of on the clock. And me as his wife, although I'm not on staff technically, I'm right there supporting and working alongside him. So it's just an interesting take on, the separation of work and church or, school events and church when, you're on staff and they're so intertwined.
I totally agree, Kendall. Totally. I worked on Sundays as well. It can be very, your routine, because you're focused on your work on Sundays and you're at the church. What I would suggest, I'm sure you and your husband are doing this already, but here's something that I did, and it really helped me when I worked on Sundays at the church. When I took my breaks, I would take those little kind of stolen moments with my husband and we would go into the church and we would pray together and we would take time out. I take my breaks instead of going to the restroom or going, talking to other staff members. I would take my little breaks and we would go into the church together and we would pray together and we would do things together that reminded us that, yes, I was still spending that quality time with God in addition to working at the church on Sundays. I'm sure you're probably doing that with your husband already, but if you're not, try that for even 10 or 15 minutes. It makes the experience so much more. I can't explain it. It has a really good feeling, Kendall. Have you done that?
No, I actually haven't done that. That's a great idea. And, you bring up, I think when we're at church, a lot of times we want to socialize, especially after the message and after the service. But, you bring up a good point, instead of, catching up with your friends, maybe take that time and just refocus and, pray and talk to your spouse about God and maybe reflect on the message that you just heard.
Yes. And do it in the church setting, right in your church. And it's a great feeling. Oh, I just can't wait. I hope you email us and tell us how it goes because it was something that I had learned from a priest and I loved it. And it made Sundays so much more special. So.
Thank you so much for that suggestion. We'll definitely be trying that on Sunday.
All right, Kendall, good job. We'll keep you in our prayers and keep listening to EWTN Radio. A lot of other great shows on as well. And you said you're kind of curious about the Catholic faith, so we'll pray for you along the way. And we'll pray for your husband, too, that he is blessed for his beautiful, beautiful service to the people of God on Sundays in your church. Okay. Eddie has been holding. Eddie, you get to share the did we give the Patience Award out yet, Debbie? I don't think so.
We did not. It goes to Eddie.
All right,
we got to give it to Eddie.
Eddie in Philadelphia. Hi, Eddie.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good.
How are you?
We doing great. We spoke earlier in the week. I think I mentioned I was actually in Rome and I met the Pope, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
I went with the Papal Foundation. But I talked about this weekend. I'm buying a house down the shore, and it's funny. I have 6 kids and my wife, and they're all excited. But the number one thing I'm excited about is on Saturday mornings, I can't wait to start a gospel reflection in the garage of the shore house. And for all my buddies who are down the shore, every Friday morning I meet with 80 guys and we have a gospel reflection. And now I'm going to have one on Saturday morning down the shore. So I can't wait. I'm so excited.
That's exciting. Okay, Eddie, please forgive me, but here's my religious education hat going on. Okay, in this garage, okay, make sure you have a holy water font in there. and make sure you surround the atmosphere with a lot of sacramentals and maybe some spiritual art. I'm sure you're going to have crucifixes and stuff. It is so beautiful when you can have the atmosphere support what you're doing with the Bible study and prayer group. I'm sure you thought about that, Eddie, but I just wanted to, that's my religious education.
I didn't. You woke me up. It's in Avalon. You probably know that town, right? You're a Jersey girl, right?
Yes, I do. Wow, congratulations. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds exciting.
I have a 10-foot Divine Mercy Chapel banner I could put in the garage.
Perfect.
It's also interesting, the conversation earlier is I've been coaching CYO for 25 years, so all that conversation with Beatrice was tremendous, too.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Wow, I wish I lived over there, Eddie. That sounds like a great... are you going to be able to fit all of those 80 men in your garage, Eddie?
Well, the one I do on Friday mornings, we have 80 guys, but I'll start this one brand new, and I'll bet the first time I have it, I'll have 5 or 8, and I'll bet we'll get to 20 to 25 in within a month, and it'll be fantastic. And it's just going to be so good. And we have the stewardship prayer little booklet, and we'll do the litany of humility and the prayer of Pope Clement, and it'll be a great hour and a half. We'll reflect on the upcoming Sunday Gospel, and we'll save some souls.
Oh, beautiful.
Indeed you are. Yeah, what a great service, huh? Thank you, Eddie, for that great inspiration here on the program on this Friday of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And Eddie, appreciate the call. Neil, you're going to wrap things up for us. We have about 90 seconds. Neil in Bloomington, Illinois. First-time caller. Hi, Neil.
How you doing? I just want to tell you, you and Debbie do a great job. You guys are the face for God. And I want to tell you that you guys are fantastic about all the inspiration that you give to people. And you guys are a blessing from God. And thank you for taking my call. And you guys, many prosperities and blessings for 2019. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Neil. Way to make me cry going into the weekend. Thank you. That was so sweet. You are just a delightful soul. Thank you for recognizing that we are working hard in ministry, and it's all by God's grace that we are able to be here with you on the weekdays, and we love it so very much. So, Neil, thank you for recognizing that, because you're just a beautiful soul, and we love that about our Take Two family. We're very close. The Take Two family is very tight.
It is, and maybe that's a good note to end the week on as we head toward our 4th anniversary of the show in 4 weeks from today, I believe. That's and right. Eddie, thank you for the comments, but we've got Tom Price started screening calls today. Michael McCall took over for him. Jeff Burson is engineering the show, and he does our social media, and Rich Jesse is the producer and usually the board operator, and the affiliates that carry the program, we thank them. But Eddie, it comes down to you, Debbie, it's the listener, you, the listeners. This is your show, and we were blessed by God to win, take second place in a Gabriel Award last year, and we went on the air, and the first thing we said was, congratulations to you. This is your award. And so, Debbie, I hope and pray that anyone who listens to the show is part of the Take Two family doesn't feel like it's a show kind of coming at them or to them, but it's a show that is they're a part of.
It's a peer ministry.
It's a peer ministry, and it's an ongoing global conversation every weekday here, and so we couldn't do it without all the people I mentioned, especially the listeners. So
right, and that's why, again, thank you, Neil, so very much for your kind words. It's just, folks, we believe in the power of prayer. We believe that we can do this together. We lock arms together and we journey closer to God. And that's our mission. That's our mission. And you guys are stepping up and you're doing it. And you seem to be loving it. And that's a good thing. And that we can only believe that is truly of God. So thank you so much for keeping it going. And Jerry, you were going to close with an email, I believe.
Well, our dear friend Jane. Hello, Jane. Blessed
Jane.
weekend to you. This is what Jane does on weekends. She says, 1, where am I going to Mass? 2, will I go on Saturday or Sunday for the Sunday Mass? 3, will I go to Mass both Saturday and Sunday because it is first Saturday? Number 4, will I be taking Friday or Saturday time to make a serious examination of conscience, prepping for the first Saturday confession? Have a good weekend. God bless, Jane. So
I love it. Oh, gosh, I love every time Jane emails us. I learn something. It's like a catechetical lesson every time. She's so brilliant. Okay, folks.
We don't have time to read them, but we got emails from Kevin, Sandra, Mary, Fred, and Katie as well. But we'll read them and reply to them. That's the Katie was
That's
on the
Katie.
air.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Katie emailed.
She's emailed
I
already.
I can't wait, Katie. I'm looking up parishes right now. Folks, on Monday, we're going to talk about, have you ever been a foster parent? This is a very, very important topic and discussion we are going to have on Monday. Think about it all weekend. If you've ever been a foster parent, please consider calling in on Monday's show. Check out our best of on Saturdays. And also, we just want to, Jerry
like
and I.
us on Facebook.
Yeah, I was just please like us on Facebook. Jerry and Debbie, find us on Facebook, like us, because we want to get the after show started soon. And Jerry and I just want to wish you a beautiful and blessed weekend. See you real soon.
Dr. Ray Gurendi, making a commitment to the wives. When the show's on, put the radio under your husband's pillow. The percentage of yes dears will rise. The doctor is in next.
If you're currently an EWTN media missionary or just interested in becoming one, we've got some great news. EWTN Media Missionaries has a new and improved website. EWTNmissionaries.com, designed with you in mind. Our new site is loaded with great features and it's easy to navigate. There are so many different ways that you can help EWTN. Join us